One of the projects I'm trying to figure out on the cheap is how to make socket holders. There's lots of videos, some guys have some great ideas for socket holders, and there's a lot of good ones you can purchase. I'm a big fan of anything that can put these things really close together so you don't waste hardly any space. Some socket holders waste a lot of space. I don't have that many sockets. I got about maybe 8 or 10 rows of them, and I have room, but I'm going to run out of room because as you get into something like this is an 1 1/8 half-inch drive. This thing's a monster. It takes up a lot of room. So what this is just a prototype. I'm experimenting. None of this is anchored down yet because I'm still trying to figure out what the best way for me to do this is. So this is pallet wood. It's about 3/4 inch oak. I would recommend, you have to figure it out yourself. The thinner it is, the tougher the material needs to be. And yes, this does raise the height in your box, so that's another thing I have to kind of experiment with. Knowing all that, I'm going to take, let's see, if I took a screw like this and I placed it here, and then I put this on top, yeah, see it high centers, so that's not going to work. I need a shorter screw. That's not terribly hard to come up with. I have lots of screws, so I don't mind using them up. Okay, so if I put this one here, that'll fit easily. That'll fit easily. I don't know that this is the right screw. It's self-threading, but it might work okay. You want it as deep into the wood as you can go without sticking out the bottom, scratching things up. So that's kind of what I was thinking for the 3/8 drive. Quarter drive has got its own set of problems. Let me grab one here. The problem with 1/4 inch drive is almost every screw head I have doesn't fit. So then what do? Well, you can buy, I have a box of finish nails that have like literally no head on them. They'll fit in there easy. But part of the luxury of using a screw with a head on it is it tends to grip the insides a little bit so it doesn't just fall off. That one's hollow. Let's see, these aren't actual sockets. Yeah, so here's a 3/8 drive, and this fits perfect. And if you put it in far enough, I don't even know if you guys can see that. There's a lip in there, and if it can go above that lip, it'll help hold it in place. So this one will work great, right? This is no problem, and it just goes past the lip. So that screw might work for 3/8 deep just fine. So, you got to kind of figure it out. I'm thinking if I only had one box of screws, something like this, I would drive it in. I would drive it in through the wood as far as I needed, even if it went out the bottom, and then grind off the excess. That way you just have whatever screws or nails you have on hand. I found one guy out of all the videos I watched that used screws. It was cheap, it was easy, and right now that works for me perfectly. I've got a lot of spare sockets laying around. Some of them are not duplicates. A lot of them are original, and I needed them for some project like 8-point or double square if you're in the know. This is for jacking up and down the trailer jack on my RV, so that is unique by itself. I put tape on it so it looks totally different than everything else, and it's easier to find. So anyway, that's my idea. That's one idea. That's my number. That's first place right now. The other thing I thought about doing is I can bore a hole in this wood that'll fit these sockets. Now most 3/8 drive. The base is the same. I'd pick a slightly bigger dimension, and then you could put it in at least 2/3 of the way through this wood. Yeah, so it would fit from here to here in the wood, right? So that's a complete and total possibility. I spent my whole life collecting tools, and the two tools that I have that are probably the most valuable to me are my mill and my lathe. And my mill I converted to CNC. So it would actually not be hard to clamp this in the vise and tell it to make, you know, 10 holes this way and 5 holes this way or something like that, and it'll just do it. That wouldn't be bad. It would also reduce the height of the tool. If it was, you know, sitting down like that, it would fit closer to flush sitting on the bottom of the drawer. But you know, any socket holder you use is going to raise the height of the socket. It's just how it is. The problem with these suckers is I have an old, my toolbox is 35 years old. That's how long I bought it brand new. This is way too high. It has to be laid over. So, except there's one exception. The lid of the box is really sturdy and really big, and I could use maybe some screws put in at an angle, or one of those magnetic, let me pull it out here. Everybody's seen these. These are magnet bars from Home Depot. No, Harbor Freight. And it holds, buddy. It holds, but good. Ugh. So I could attach this bar somehow to my lid. I'm not going to rivet it, so I got to work on that idea. But I could hang the whole slew of sockets on my lid, and this thing leaves the drawer. That socket takes up at least 3 rows of regular sockets. So it kind of needs to be dealt with. But that would get that out of the drawer and, you know, leave me more room. In fact, I was thinking of putting all my sockets on the lid, and then I'd free up a whole other drawer. Because I have all kinds of tools now for working on air conditioning compressors and rebuilding hydraulic rams and all these extra tools I never had before. And they need to go in a drawer. They need to be, you know, in a place. So anyway, I've got lots of screw ideas. I think this oak would be really tough. I just put it in the bandsaw and cut it to fit. There's some openings in the box that are exactly this size. There's a big long opening in the front that's the same width, but it's got to be. It's like 2 feet long. So I can get rid of my sockets out of my socket drawer, which would probably make them handier. So anyway, these are the thoughts of making socket holders. Let's see, an additional thought on this one is if I could mount a piece of plywood to the lid, then I could screw this magnetic rail to the wood, and that's all it would take is 2 screws, and it would hold any number of sockets. And I kind of like that idea. Now let me show you the box in question here. The lighting's not going to be very good, but okay, so there's the lid. It's 2 pieces. It covers all the drawers when you fold it shut. And I used a strap to tie it to the rafter, and that makes it real stiff and strong. There is a bracket to hold the thing open right here. Sorry for the glare. So what I was thinking of is these holes on the side here were for rods you put across so you could put manuals, instructions and stuff back in the day. I thought I had those, but I can't find them anywhere. So what I'm going to do is put a piece of wood. Let's see here. I have some big plywood, and I could stick a stud or a screw sticking out of this sideways and fit it in there like that, so I'm not actually screwing this to my box or drilling holes in it or anything. And then I could take the magnetic strip here and screw it on there, or screw it on mostly. Oops. See, this is 16 inches tall, and that's not. It's like, what, 18 inches high? And then there's also this lid here. These magnets are pretty strong. If they'll hold an 1 1/8, half-inch deep socket, they'll hold anything. So anyway, I have an opening down here. I stick that in. Yeah, I'll never get it out now. And there's an opening here in the front that's the same width, but it's the full width of the box. And then there's one over there, and then there's one where this tool tray sits. I've never used this for anything except a junk catch. There's receipts in here and drag strip times and all that stuff from the 80s. So I need to clean it up. I need to use it for tools instead of junk. So anyway, that's another way of hanging tools. These magnetic strips from Harbor Freight, they used to be free, then they were sometimes $2. Now they're, the lowest I've seen them in the last year or so is $3. So if you use a 20% off coupon, that's $2.50, or if they're $5 like they are right now, then it's $4. So you have to make your own decision. The other thing is with the plywood up here, I could stick this in sideways, it would fit easily. I'm trying to be super efficient with the space, so we'll see. It's just another idea using what I have on hand. I don't have a whole lot. I have no money, so there's no spending money. This project has to be $0. And I think the lid would be a great source of hanging stuff up. I would really like to take and get a plier rack and put in there and put all my pliers and vice grips and stuff like that. Here's the socket drawer as it currently stands, and I think that would be awesome to have just pliers all lined up in there. I think that would be really superb. So that needs to be worked on a little bit. See, I don't have a lot of sockets, but I won't have money for a long time to buy another box, so it's time to make things more efficient. And the other thing that really bugs me is I got 4 sockets missing off that tree. I do not loan my tools to anybody, ever, but they're gone. And I'm pretty sure they fell out of my bag in the junkyard over the years. I've looked in places where I've had small sockets temporarily, so that sucks. And these fall off easy. Watch this. See that? No, they're just, these are 35 years old. Some of them are. Some of them are 25 years old. In any case, they're just way too unstable, and if you lose one, they're actually expensive to replace. So I am going to work on that severely. So that's why this needs to be done. Something has got to be better than these old rails. It's just annoying to death. So that's what I'm working on. Doing it cheap. We got a couple mounting scenarios. I only have one magnet bar to test this out with, and I got lots and lots of wood. I've got a couple of pieces of plywood together that'll fit in that top of that box, and they're 5/8 thick or something. So they're aircraft plywood, so they will hold anything you put on them. So that's one idea. So I'm just working on it, kind of thinking out loud. I don't really have anything done yet. I did cut these pieces. I wanted to see if they'd fit and kind of get an idea of how many, of what size socket will fit on there. This one's obviously too small to put, say, a bunch of 3/8 on. Well, these are small 3/8. If you get the big 3/8 base, it takes up, you can see that it's a lot more room. So I might put small things on here. The other thing I was thinking is I've got probably 100 loose 1/4-inch bits, and I could take and drill, what is it? It's not a 1/4-inch hole you need, it's a 9/32 hole. And I could put almost 100 holes, 80 holes or something, on this piece of wood and drop all those bits in and then just set them somewhere. The good news is if you're missing a bit, you can see the hole. You don't forget. I'm sure I've lost tools because I didn't know they were lost until like recently when I needed them. So anyway, I got a whole bunch of different assortment of screws, hoping to find something. Maybe for that 1/4" drive I have to use a nail. I don't really even care. In fact, one thing I thought of, before I go, is, you could drive screws up through the middle and then grind the sharp point off it. Man, you stick your hand down on that. Okay, well, it's an idea, right? We're prototyping, we're troubleshooting, brainstorming. So that's what you do in order to find out what you think works. So I have 2 pieces of this wood, and I like that for the bits. I've probably got 100 bits, so putting that in here I think would be a great idea. I may have to add a handle of some kind, either maybe just a long screw so you can grab onto it, or baling wire, or just something to hang on to these things so you can get them out of the spots in there. So that'll really free up a bunch of drawers, a bunch of space in drawers, and I really like that idea. So anyway, that's what we have today, just troubleshooting, brainstorming this problem, because I can't afford a new toolbox. I need to use mine more efficiently, and I can tell you for 35 years I haven't done a great job of that. But I also haven't had this many tools. All right, you guys, that's it for now. See you, bye.